Welcome in lacrosse fans to the Utah Lacrosse Report podcast. I'm your host, Tim Haslam. My guest today is the board chair of Vessel Kitchen, Brent Nixon. We are right in the heart of lacrosse season, and I'm excited to have Brent on to talk about his unique path into the sport and how it eventually intersected with one of Utah's favorite clean eating spots, Vessel Kitchen. Brent's story is a great example of how lacrosse brings people in from all different backgrounds and build lasting community along the way. Hope you enjoy the show. Welcome to the show, Brent. How are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
Oh, doing well. Couldn't be better. We're in the heart of lacrosse season, which is always a fun time, and wanted to get you on the show to talk about Vessel Kitchen and all the good stuff there. But first thing I asked my guests, I asked them when they started playing lacrosse, but one of the few, Brent, to join the podcast who didn't grow up playing lacrosse. So I'm going to ask you, when did you start getting involved in lacrosse?
Oh, great question. Yeah, I'm a little different than probably some of your other show attendees that have, either played college or high school. I'm a lacrosse dad, I guess is probably the best way to say it. And didn't grow up playing lacrosse. I think we talked a little bit. I grew up in a small town in British Columbia, Canada. They don't have lacrosse. And so my first intro to lacrosse was when my daughter was in fifth grade, growing up in Park City, and they needed some parent coaching. And so I stepped onto the field, and I knew there was a ball and a stick, so learning the girls' lacrosse rules was definitely a fun thing. But and so that was quite a few years ago, and then just stayed involved all the way through. I had three daughters that played, and stayed through high school, and their overlap meant that I was 7 years in high school, got into lacrosse stats, and so just got fully immersed in lacrosse as a lacrosse dad. And a big fan, and my daughters graduated a number of years ago, but still watch it quite often. Love watching the NCAA finals, and then with Utah Archers, we're very good family friends with the Pedersons, so we love to go watch Bo play. They're actually coming up. You're probably going in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
They're coming to the opener, so we love doing that, and it's just an incredible sport to watch what I've seen, with my daughters, what it taught them in life, and just seeing other kids, and then, just the explosiveness in Utah. We've seen it go crazy in Park City and across the state as well. So yeah, I love the sport.
Yeah, it's exciting, and you talk about the growth avenues. We with the Archers, who thought we would have a PLL team here that calls itself home here. The draft is tonight. By the time people listen to this, the draft results will be out. But definitely exciting to see in that growth. You talk about Park City, obviously a big part of that, both on the boys and girls side. What in your opinion makes the girls program so dominant, so good? They've been good for all these years. What do you think is the key to success there?
I think it's just the age that they start. I don't know that, in the state, I don't know the other programs as well. I know Park City's probably got one of the longer time, sort of history, but these girls, my girls started when they were, grade 2, 3, 4 type, they're running around. It's a little painful at first because they can't really catch or play. And, but I think we have a lot of families that move into Park City where parents have played lacrosse or been involved. And so there's just a lot of sort of inherent legacy of lacrosse in Park City. And I think once you get a program going, it just sort of feeds. It's a little bit, like ski racing in Park City. It's a great long time sport because a lot of people do it. Lacrosse is the same way. It's just been here for a long time.
Yeah, it does. It's had strong tradition, strong roots for sure. And then obviously the girls team winning a ton of games and a ton of championships obviously helped, likely on their way to the championship game this year. You never know what will happen once you get there, but definitely a strong tradition. You mentioned you're from British Columbia. You came to the States to ski race, ended up at the University of Utah. Walk through sort of your path after, during college and after college and how you got to where you are today.
So I came down to ski race, University of Utah. I was a little bit older. I came in I took a few years off, skiing internationally at that point, and then got out of school and wasn't quite ready to go to work. So I went and worked at Romark Ski Academy at Rowan Hall for a couple of years, and then went back to MBA school, and then sort of got into the work world. Been in Utah my whole career, working in technology with, Silicon Slopes down in, the Lehigh, Utah County. So been doing that for years and years and years. And now starting to slow down a little bit and just enjoy life.
And that leads to where you are today, the board chair of Vessel Kitchen. Talk about the origins of Vessel Kitchen. I know it's deeply rooted in the lacrosse world. Start us from the beginning. How did it come to be?
It's a great story. As you know, as any small growth company, you love to go back to sort of day one. And there was, it's almost like, very typical. There was three guys that had an idea, and six or seven families that were willing to put up a little bit of money to get it started. And what's interesting, I was just thinking about it as, as I was thinking, getting ready for this discussion today, I think all but one of the families they were all lacrosse families. So having kids playing lacrosse, and obviously with Nick being one of the founders, being, the lacrosse coach and lacrosse player himself. So it was all very deeply rooted in that lacrosse community where it started, and which is fun to watch as we've grown up, and a lot of where we've grown Vessel over the years has been sort of in areas, in Utah now, in Logan, where and we have a lot of lacrosse families, a lot of your members with your organization that are following us and supporting us, and that's one of the reasons why we're so excited to be tighter involved with Utah Lacrosse Report, because as we grow, a lot of our customers are people that listen to your wonderful content, and so it's kind of a match made for us going forward. So super excited to work with you and your group.
Yeah, and no, and we appreciate it for sure. Vessel Kitchen has been a sponsor over the years, a couple different times. You guys were founded in 2016 in that Park City location in Campbell Junction there. I remember going up there the first time and going in, kind of going like, what is this place? It was kind of a foreign concept. The fresh food, the clean eating, that kind of thing is just coming into kind of fruition as I started coming back into lacrosse, and it's just exploded. You're up to, is it 10 locations now?
Yep. And we just opened, we sort of accelerated the growth last summer. We opened up in Orem, a new store, and then we followed up in Logan in January. The Logan store went very, very well. We sort of, in that, where our kind of offering of food, it sort of fits in a market where it isn't that not that well served in Logan, so that did very well. And then we have Eagle, Idaho, so Boise area opening up in June, and then we'll have another Utah location opening up in October, and then another one in January. So it's really fun at Vessel right now as we're continuing to grow the brand, and we just have a lot of very loyal customers and we've put a lot of focus on over the last year on really making sure we understand who our customers are, what they how do we serve them best, and it's had 2025 was a phenomenal year for Vessel.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you mentioned, it kind of fits a niche, right? It fits into that the lifestyle avenue pretty well. My local store is a Farmington store, and I love it up here. It fits nicely there in Station Park. When I was up at the University of Utah, we'd get it catered for the guys all the time, and they just love it. And then my day job gets it catered as well. So we love Vessel Kitchen. We love the menu, all of that. What do you foresee as the sort of the next waves? You talked about a few stores opening, but what's on the horizon for Vessel Kitchen?
Well, we're obviously, with any restaurant group or any company you build, you sort of get everything going really well in your home market, which is, think of it as the Utah market, Wasatch Front, and then start venturing out. So as we go out into Idaho, that's our first real out of market store. And as I said, that's opening up in June. The reception so far in that market has been great. And we'll just continue down that path of sort of extending out of Utah and accelerating the growth rate. And we just brought on a new leader coming to us from a very experienced leader that was spent a bunch of years at Cafe Rio. So we're super excited as we're growing. We've got a very, very strong leader to grow Vessel. And so, it's going to be a really, really fun ride.
And again, it all started with a handful of lacrosse families who caught the vision and decided to make this thing go. And here you are 10 years later, with 10 locations and expanding, and it's super exciting. I wanted to ask you, because you've had kids who've played it in college. You were a college athlete yourself. How does being a college athlete relate to the real world? You talked about getting into Silicon Slopes and all that. What are some of the aspects of being a college athlete that carry over into the professional world?
I think one of the things that it teaches you is how to sort of deal with multiple sort of channels going on at the same time. And so you get really, really good at prioritization because you sort of have two jobs when you're a college athlete. You've got to, do well in your studies and keep up on that. And then also you have to excel in your sport. And you have to balance those. And there's, things pulling you either way. And so I think it really teaches you as you get it into the whether it's business world or wherever somebody's going post college. And I think even in today's world where it's a little different than when I graduated, there's so many different things going on. I look at my daughters that have just recently graduated, and it's a big world out there. Lots of different options, lots of different things that can pull you in different directions. So I think being a college athlete teaches you how to manage that and not get overwhelmed by it.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of different directions, like you're saying, being pulled, and that's very real world experience there as you are a college athlete. Something that a lot of people, don't experience, but it's definitely a learning experience. And there's the studies out there that show if you were a college athlete, you're X and X more likely to succeed or become a CEO and stuff. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting to think about. Two last questions for you. The first one: what's your favorite menu item at Vessel Kitchen?
What's my favorite right now? I go back and forth a little bit. The Uncle Rico right now is top of my list.
I love it. Obviously, a nod to Napoleon Dynamite, the classic favorite show, especially from Utah and Idaho. Second question: you talked about the Pedersen family. Obviously, Bo, plays for the PLL Archers, a local Park City native. When are we going to get a Bo Pedersen menu item at Vessel Kitchen?
Oh, that's a great question. We will have to talk to Bo and see what he likes.
If not long term, I think while the PLL's here, might be fun to throw that on the menu.
We could have a weekend special with the Bo Pedersen or something.
Yeah.
No, I'll take that back to the team.
Or maybe even Archers themed or whatever it may be, but something along those lines might be fun. It'd be cool. It'd be a nice little tribute to Bo and the Pedersen family, obviously. Brent, I want to thank you for coming on the podcast. Where can people find out more about Vessel?
VesselKitchen.com has all our information, all our new locations, all our food menus, everything you want. You can order online from there, and just find everything you want.
Makes for a great pregame meal, postgame meal, just meal in general, because it's a great place to eat. Locations all across the Wasatch Front, as we talked about. Again, Brent, thanks for coming on, and we'll see you on the sidelines.
Great. Well, thanks for having me, and we look forward to continue to support you.